Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is that you are, wherever you may be. Thank you very much for making this a part of your day. I am Brad Franklin, creative content right here in Chesterfield, and I'm very glad to tell you that Chesterfield Behind the Mic is on the air once again. We've been recording this podcast in September, and we're going to do something today that we've never done before. We got a musical act in the house today, y'all. I'm really, really pleased to welcome Carrie Brockwell, who is, I mean, it seems like to say that your star is rising and all that fun stuff is just an understatement. But Carrie, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Very glad to have you. Really appreciate your time. Obviously, it's been a interesting few months for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about all of it. For those who may not be aware, Carrie was on American Idol, made it all the way to Hollywood. If it showed better on film, we would let you see the golden ticket. But just trust me, it's over there. But it's suffice to say, this has been, it has to have been a lot of fun, but also has to have been a little bit of a whirlwind. Has it really sunk in yet that all of this happened in this relatively small amount of time?
Mm-hmm. Not really. It's still, I think it's always like it's forever gonna be very surreal. And
right.
Like I have the ticket in front of me, but it's like I don't know if it's processed yet. Maybe in a couple years I'll get there. I'm like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got you. Let's take it back a little bit further though. Playing, singing, music and stuff. How early on did that really catch hold of you? How young? I mean, you're only 15. Mm-hmm. But so I realize that everything's relative here. But in terms of your experience with music, when did it really start for you?
Oh gosh, since I can remember, like forever. I know I got like a solo in my preschool graduation concert.
Right.
I sang at church with my dad in the talent show when I was like 3 or 4.
Right.
It's just been kind of forever. I started piano at age 7 and kind of picked up guitar in 3rd grade.
Okay.
And kind of just started like growing in my music, I guess.
Right.
And I started a lot in musical theater.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of fell in love with the stage. And then over quarantine, I just kind of started writing and getting really serious about my own music.
Right.
And it all just kind of happened from there.
Now you said picked up guitar. Mm-hmm. Did you have to take classes? Was it one of those things because you knew piano, it came naturally to you? Like what was your experience like?
My dad and my uncle play guitar like pretty well, I'd say. They like to say that they're not very good. They're like average, but I think they're fantastic. Okay. But just kind of watching them growing up kind of inspired me to pick up guitar.
Right.
And so I didn't really have to take any classes. I got to learn from my dad and my uncle and a lot of kind of self-teaching as well.
Right. So you grow up in music. It seems like it was all around you. You're getting kind of more comfortable in your own, being your own musician and that kind of thing. The idea of American Idol, where do you remember the first time you started thinking about maybe doing something like that? Do you remember where that sort of took hold?
Well, so it's kind of like, it's interesting because the age range for Idol is 15 to 28. I think you can turn 29 in the middle of the competition. And so it wasn't just like, it wasn't really a question, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. It was like we never actually like sat down to be like, are we going to audition?
Are we going to do this?
It was just like, hey, this is a fun thing. Might as well try.
Right. Now, the process that you went through, and jump in here at any point if I'm wrong, because I don't want to be that guy. You did your first, I guess, audition on Zoom, right? Mm-hmm. And so you did that. I guess it was an open call, and so you do that. Take me through sort of the process from that point forward. Like, you got the word. I think you said a couple weeks later. What kind of time frame were we on between that and all of the other stuff? Like, take me through sort of your experience with that.
So it all started on Zoom. We signed up to have a certain day where we joined a Zoom with like 130 different people, I think. Okay. And you kind of waited for a little bit, and then they're like, okay, it's your time to go. And so we sat in this huge room with everybody in it until they put you in a breakout room. Right. And they were like, okay, we're going to put you in this breakout room with one producer or like casting call guy. Right. And then you'll sing 1 or 2, maybe 3 songs for this guy. Okay. And so I got into that breakout room, and I sang a song, and he was like, man, that was like really good. And so they send, which was already surreal. I was like, dang, they actually kind of like me. That's wild. So they sent me to another breakout room with a couple more producers and main people who are kind of like media people, producers. Like, I don't know. It was a bunch of different people in one other breakout room. Gotcha. And then they would send you to another set of breakout rooms to talk to producers and talk to people and do interviews. More breakout rooms with different songs and like videos you had to record right then.
Right.
And so like after the interviews and a little bit more singing, they were like, okay, yeah, now we want you to send 3 full song videos.
Okay.
And email them to us.
Okay.
Like right now while you're on the Zoom. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
So I pulled out 3 songs. One of them was an original, and I just kind of sent them over, and they were like, okay, you're done for the day. Like, we'll get back to you.
We'll be in touch. And then so it was 2-3 weeks later, you get that call. What was the feeling like when you got the call to say, hey, come to Austin and be on and do this?
I was in my bedroom, I remember, and I was doing homework or something, and I looked at my phone, and I got an email from one of the main casting people.
Right.
And it was something like, you're going to you're going to Hollywood, not yet. You're going to Austin.
Right.
And I remember looking at my phone and kind of just being like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, right.
Like, jaw dropped to the floor.
Right.
And I immediately ran downstairs and I was like, family meeting, you guys. Family meeting. We're going to Austin.
That's awesome.
And it was the craziest thing. I remember just kind of being in shock. Like, I was in the middle of my school show at the time. I was in kind of the middle of just normal high school stuff.
Right.
And then it was like, hey, you're going to go see Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
And
That's
I was
awesome.
just like, whoa.
So you have to figure, I guess in that moment, like you're very focused on the opportunity to go to Austin, but there's also like a whole lot of like life stuff going on, right? Because this was last fall, right? Fall of 21. So you had to figure out like, I don't know, hey, everybody, I'm going to go do this thing. Because like there's a weird sort of secretive nature to this.
Oh my goodness.
Like how did you balance like telling school where you were going, but also not really telling them where you were going? Like I'm going on a family trip for like a while. Like what did you even do?
That's interesting. Nobody's asked me that yet. I remember I got the email and I said I was in my school show and like Tech Week was when the auditions were going to go on. And so I was like, Tech Week is the biggest thing in theater.
Right. Yeah.
And like, you can't miss it.
Right.
And so I immediately told my director, she was the first one to know, my acting teacher at school. And I was like, hey, so I got this huge opportunity and I'm really like, can we like mix the schedule and fit it around? Because like, I feel so bad and I don't want them to feel like I'm letting them down for my own opportunity, but it's kind of like the biggest opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is one of those, like, everybody in the room kind of understands kind of things, you know? Now that makes total sense.
Yeah, I remember just, like, wanting to cry almost, because I was like, I feel so bad.
So bad, but at the same time, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way around it. So how long were you in Austin then?
I was in Austin for, like, a week.
I was going to say, it had to be a while. So you go and you do your thing, and then do I guess they punch your ticket to Hollywood there, right? Real quick, because I mean the ticket's over there, so I have to talk about it. But what was that moment like? Did it even resonate with you? Like, was it a while like you're just staring at this thing until you really sunk in?
It was like you're in the room and the lights are on the judges. They look like Barbie dolls sitting there. They're like perfect people and they're like glowing.
Right.
And you sing and like they were giving me like positive feedback and I was like, oh my goodness. Like I remember my neck feeling warm. I was like, it was all kind of a blur.
Yeah.
And like I walked over there to grab my ticket and like I walked out the door.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I talked to Ryan afterwards. I'm not quite sure. But we did these interviews afterwards.
Right.
And my dad was in the interview with me. And he was like, take a second and, like, look at the ticket. He was like, you can see your reflection in that ticket.
That's pretty cool.
And we were just like, oh, my goodness. Yeah. And we walked away. We're like, we're going to Hollywood.
That's
like,
awesome.
It was like, that's when it was like, shoot, this is kind of real.
This is real. So how long was it between when you were in Austin and when you went to Hollywood? What was sort of ballpark the time frame for me?
So my audition city was the first city.
Okay.
And so they had 3 other different cities. So it was about a month, I think, until
So in that month, what are you doing? Other than stressing and trying not to think about it too much. You got to get back home. You got homework you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, there's all that fun stuff. I'm imagining that month was, you know, lots of like random moments where you're like, oh, this thing's happening. And then also just sheer excitement and joy, right?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of excitement and a lot of like, how am I about to tell people that I'm about to go away again?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Without any idea when you would be back, right? Because once you go, you're kind of there.
You're there and you don't know how long it's going to be.
Right.
And I think I did tell people I was going to Arizona or something crazy. I was like, yeah, family fun trip to the desert, y'all.
Family fun trip where I'm going to be performing. So you get to Hollywood, right? And I mean, just what were the emotions like as you went through that whole process? What really stands out to you now looking back on it?
Oh my goodness. It was the most wild experience. I think because I was so excited to be reunited with my friends from Austin.
Right.
Because the atmosphere of my friends from Austin was just incredible. I tell everybody that. I'm like, there's a lot of things that you can take away from the experience, but the amount of like family feeling from the whole thing was incredible. It was like everybody was there to support each other and everybody was like building each other up instead of like, oh, we're competition.
Right,
like, we can't be friends.
Right, yeah.
No, everybody was so excited. Like, when you came out that room in Austin, immediately all of my friends down by the pool were cheering. We were on the balcony, and they were all, like, you looked out at them, and it was like, oh, everybody was just so excited for each other. Yeah. And so in Hollywood, it was just, I'm so excited to be reunited with my friends, but also kind of get to work on this, like, crazy thing and get to perform in front of the judges again.
Right.
And it was definitely a little bit more stressful than the initial audition because in Hollywood you audition in front of everybody else, including the judges, all the contestants. And Austin was kind of like an intimate room setting.
Yeah.
And so Hollywood was like on stage and there's all kind of this pressure.
Right.
But there wasn't any room to kind of like freak out about it.
That makes sense. How many songs? I mean, what take me through sort of the process for the show in terms of the competition aspect of it. How far, how much, how many songs, that kind of thing. What was it all like for you?
For me, it was like, I only sang 2 songs.
Okay, gotcha.
One in Austin and one in Hollywood.
Okay.
But we had to have, I think, like 5
that's
prepared
what I was.
for Hollywood.
That's what I was thinking. Is that like while you're there, you were having to have a whole bunch of others sort of in the in the can, ready to roll.
Yes.
If you needed it. Take me through just sort of so you finish that experience and you're coming home and you're waiting then, right? Because it's a long time between when it happens and when it airs. Isn't that right? Like there's a
yes,
gap,
actually,
right?
Yes.
So take me through just what that time frame was like.
Oh my goodness. It was like, well, so when I got eliminated, it was like I didn't know how to feel. I wasn't like, obviously I was sad about not being in the competition anymore. For sure. Right. But I was kind of sad to leave the family again aspect of it.
Right.
And so like it was kind of like, there's this thing that's like after theater is like after show depression.
Right.
And it's like, that's how it felt. Or like after like a great vacation, when you come home finally, and it's that like letdown of like. Oh.
And you're sort of back to reality.
Yes, you're back to the real life. And that's kind of what it was. It was that kind of letdown, but it's also like, oh, this is all going to be stirred up again in a while. Yeah. In a little bit, this is all, people are going to start to get excited about it again. Right. And so the hardest thing I think about that was me knowing that I was eliminated, but everybody else thinking that I was still, like when I first announced that I auditioned for American Idol, maybe tune in to see me. Like, you don't know, I don't know if you'll see me, but tune in to watch. Right. It was that like everybody still thinks that you're there and in the moment. That's really
interesting. Yeah, I can imagine that that's tough.
It was, and it was really hard not to tell people too. Right. It was so hard because like even everybody was like, "Where did you go, Carrie? Like what were those mysterious trips you took?
What's going on in Arizona?"
Yeah, right. I'm like, lots of cactuses,
lots of rocks.
Yep.
So you get home, the show airs, and you kind of are now sort of back to reality. How has this experience changed you, changed your outlook? I can imagine you're doing a lot more of these types of things, talking about the experience stuff, but I'm just curious, how do you feel like that experience changed you?
I feel like it's made me a much like, I don't know if like well-spoken is the word, but, or like way to describe it, but I spent a lot of time with people over 18 and I was kind of like one of the adults almost. Right. And so it was like, I kind of learned how like, I guess, I don't know, be more of human, you know? Yeah, like, not to be like a person in high school that's like just here, Yeah. I kind of like, I don't know, that's interesting. But I feel like it also, Idol has helped me so much more with like my interview process and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, you're doing a pretty great job. Just for the record. Just for the record.
Thank you. I used to just kind of, I still do, but I used to kind of like ramble on a bunch. But I feel like now I kind of have my thoughts more together because Idol, they're like, okay, we want to hear this from you, and like this is what we need, and like be yourself, but also like we want to hear your story. And so it's like you can't like ramble on for like
you
hours
gotta stay sort of
TV.
focused on what you want to talk about.
Yeah,
and
I think it's also made me a lot more focused in my songwriting, and also focused like in it's made me realize what I want to do and who I want to be.
Right.
Because I used to be this like, oh, I want to be on Broadway. It was like Broadway or Grand Ole Opry. Right. And now it's like 100% Grand Ole Opry. It's like these songwriters that I've been around, and these people that are just so inspiring to be around, and like everything just about the whole experience is kind of like, I want to be a musician. Right. I want to express myself through music, and that's how I know how to. It used to be step into somebody else's shoes and tell their story. Right. But now it's like, I want to tell mine.
Gotcha. All right, last question for you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like on some level this is a silly question, but I got to ask it anyway. I don't know if there's a rule against folks coming back to American Idol or you know, trying to, you know, re-audition or what have you. So I don't know if that's an option, but I'm curious if you're interested in trying to go back on the show and trying to do it again. Mm-hmm. And have you thought much about doing it again?
That's an interesting question. And a lot of people ask it too. And I'm like, I don't know. I think if it feels right, yes. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to graduate high school first. Okay. So there's not that much.
So no more mysterious trips to Arizona.
Yes, no more mysterious trips to Arizona.
I got you.
And a lot less homework stress and finals and midterm stress.
Gotcha.
It was midterms during that time. And I think once I kind of have like adulting a little bit more, like adulting down, I guess. I don't know.
I got you. That makes total sense.
It was interesting being like the kid in a group of everybody else who like, oh, these people have to go do their job, and then they can fly out to go meet each other and write songs on the weekend. It's like, no, I have to have like my dad with me when I fly. So
no offense to your dad.
Oh no, they love my dad too. Dad got to come with me with everything. He loves my friends. They love him. It was great. But yeah, I think, I don't know, just kind of, if the timing's right, and if I feel like I need that extra platform too, I think maybe one day, maybe.
Well, rumor has it that you're going to play a little something for us here in a second.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back.
All right, this song is called Dear Nashville, and it's original that I wrote right after I got back from Austin, actually for an acting assignment, and it's kind of just all about my hopes and dreams. Dear Nashville, I have a few things I'd like to talk over with you. Never knew how much in love I would fall with you. Please just listen till I'm through. Dear Nashville, how's that circle looking? Please watch over it for me. 'Cause in 3 years I'll be running down that road. Lord only knows that I want to hear my name chanted out by a huge crowd. Want to feel my face in the lights, everyone singing loud the words to set you free. Hey Nashville, could you please wait on me? Dear Nashville, oh I know you don't know me yet, but I spent some time down in Austin, and I'd like to take that bet that in a while, oh in a while, my name will be on your mind. 'Cause I'm gonna hear my name chanted out by a huge crowd.
Wanna feel my face in the lights, everyone singing loud, the words to set you free. Hey Nashville, could you please wait on me? I've been trying and trying, putting all my bait in the water. I've been fighting, can't stop riding, 'cause I can't put out this fire. Oh, inside of me. 'Cause I wanna hear my name chanted out by a huge crowd. Wanna feel my face in the lights, everyone singing loud, the words to set you free. Oh, they'll know all the words to set you free. Dear Nashville, sincerely me.
I want to thank Carrie for coming on the podcast and playing that song for us. And hopefully you guys can check out her music. CarrieBrockwellMusic.com has all kinds of stuff. So definitely give that a look when you get a chance. Now, make sure you check us out on social media. On Twitter, it's at Chesterfield VA, and on Instagram, it's Chesterfield Virginia, all one word. And on Facebook, check out our podcast page. Just search Chesterfield Behind the Mic. Make sure to like that page so you can keep up with us as we go forward. Now, let me tell you about all the ways you can check us out. You can watch on our YouTube channel as well as on our website, Chesterfield.gov/podcast. An audio-only version of the show is available there, as well as on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, and a whole host of other services. You can also watch the podcast on WCCT Thursday through Sunday at 7 and on the weekends at noon. That's Comcast Channel 98 and Verizon Channel 28. Lastly, you can check out Chesterfield.gov/connect with us for more ways to get in touch with us and for us to get in touch with you. My thanks to my director, Martin Stith, my executive producer, Susan Pollard, and all the good folks here in Communications Media for making this happen. And my thanks to you for checking us out today. So, from all of us here in Chesterfield, thank you very much for making us a part of your day. We'll see you again real soon. Take good care.